What up, YouTube? This is a very important video. Now, there's a component to marriage that a lot of people don't talk about. There is the whole business side of marriage for men. What do I mean? Okay, oftentimes you'll have men who will get married not for love. They'll have children, with the good grades and, that quote unquote traditional family type of environment. Not because of the love for family, but because they know what it will do for them career wise. Okay? Oftentimes, when you're trying to move up or become a head honcho in your industry, you're going to have to deal with other people, or you're going to have to get hired. And people like stability. What do I mean? If you had two twins, okay, both equally as talented, both of them a little bit older, and one had a family and one didn't, who would you hire? Some people might say the guy without the family, but for me, I think a lot of people would hire the dude with the family. Why? Because he has something to lose. He has to worry about stability. His kids playing with their friends. Their kids going to a good school. The mother liking where she lives. Okay? So what does that mean? He may not just up and leave just because there's a better paying job. He has to then think about taking his family and relocating them, which is hard. Okay? When my parents divorced, relocated 15 miles away, and even then that was a hard process to do. So there's a level of stability, there's a level of level-headedness. So you will have dudes who will say, man, I'm trying to move my career up, let me get married, let me have some kids, because I know what that will do for my career. Okay? Now, does this mean that it works for black men and white women? No. Look at the picture on the screen. Okay? Whenever you see black men with attractive non-black women, that's what America sees. Simple as that. So, will that help me professionally? The fact that my employers will have that vision of me and my wife or whatever and our kids, will that help? No. If I'm running my own business and I need to do business with, a manufacturer or somebody else, okay, and obviously you need a good working relationship, and they see my family where the wife is attractive, and, and they automatically get that whole, LeBron James clutching this white girl, thing going on. Will that help me? No. Will that advance my career? No. Now I forgot the name of the guy, and somebody reminded me in a PM. There was a coach in NCAA football who went to get to it for a job, was more than qualified than the person that they gave the job to, but people feel like he didn't get the job because he was black and his wife was white. Simple as that, right? ESPN talked about it, so it just wasn't some black guy speculating. ESPN actually did a special, and I remember watching it. I just forgot the guy's name, and I should know it. So it definitely hurts. It doesn't help. There's not people. A lot of women think that there's this. Oh, welcome to the boys' club. If a black guy goes off and gets the white girl, oh, welcome to the club. But in reality, that's all they see, right? The big physically masculine dude clutching this beautiful white girl, and who knows what he does to her late at night, right? Who knows what he does to her? Ravishes her and all these other nasty things. It's real. That's how men think. I'm gonna keep it real with you, right? So it doesn't help. But if I was a black dude, and from a pure business standpoint, I wanted to use marriage to help me, I would marry a black woman. Right? Not some Vanessa Williams types, but more so a Brandy, Nia Long, Gabrielle Union type of black chick. Just like Obama did. I'm not saying Obama married his wife for the business standpoint, right? Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying it helped him Just imagine if Obama's wife was white or Asian, it wouldn't be, it would most likely be white. Do you think he'd be where he was? No. He would be a lawyer somewhere. End the story. Simple as that. He'd be a lawyer, maybe a politician. But even then, I don't think, too many black people would vote for him. Okay? Even if his wife was lighter in skin tone, he would have got farther. But I don't see him being a president, right? His wife definitely helped. I'm not saying it was the end all be all, but it's pretty significant, right? Because if his wife was light skinned or if his wife was non-black, he wouldn't be there. So you fill in the blanks in regards to how significant it is. His wife was black. Not one of those, yeah, she passes. No, she was clearly black. She's blacker than him, right? In regards to her, genetic makeup, right? So honestly, there's no incentive. Like, to me, this defeats the whole idea of the men trying to date up or marry up. It does nothing for us. If I was trying to use marriage as a tool, I would get with a black chick, right? Because she's not threatening to the other men in regards to, oh, he has one of our women. Well, what is he doing to her late at night? How is he treating her? He probably beats her up and slaps her around, to take out his rage or whatnot, right? I'm not worried about all that. Okay? Secondly, brain freeze. Oh, okay, I'm back. Had a little brain freeze for a second. Secondly, it breaks the stereotype of black people not forming families. What's the knock on black people? We don't have families, right? So because of all our faults, all our deficiencies, we don't value education, we do this and do that, we don't have the ability to form families. But if I have a black family, not just a family, but a black family, what does that say about me and my wife? It says that somehow we're not like the rest of black people because we actually have a family where she's educated and he's educated. So they're going to have educated kids. They're going to have money and they're going to be able to build wealth, and their kids will have wealth and their kids will have morals and values. So that would break all of the stereotypes against black America. So people will be more willing to deal with me because I'm not the typical average black person. Just like Obama, right? How many places did he show up with Michelle and everybody's like, oh, wow, what a beautiful black woman. And everybody's like, oh, okay, well, I'm not worried about feeling inferior, right? He doesn't have a white girl on his arm. He has a black woman. And they have a family, so they must not be like the other black people. Let's do business with him. Let's see what's going on with him, right? He doesn't necessarily challenge my manhood. Right? The whole idea, it's funny because if a black dude has a white girl, he looks like the picture that's up there with LeBron James clutching that white girl. But the second, he's with the black chick who could be, equally as attractive, it's like the Cosby Show, right? What a different picture. So if I'm a black dude, to wrap things up, and I'm trying to date up and increase my career, do I want people to look at me like LeBron James holding this white girl? Or do I want them to look at me as if I'm Bill Cosby with my wife and we're about to come on NBC Thursdays at 8, right? I want the second. So if anything, okay, as a black dude, if we are trying to date up and, increase our status on the social ladder, and we're trying to, just break into new places, I'm going to choose a black woman, not a white girl, not an Asian girl. Okay, I'm not gonna choose even the borderline black chick. I'm gonna choose a Tanisha Arnold, Pam from Martin type of black woman by my side, because I know it would just shatter all the stereotypes against black men. Simple as that. I'm not saying that love wouldn't be part of it, but I'm talking about from a pure business, career, social mobility standpoint, love, and for the love of the woman and for the family, that's a different video. But from a pure business financial standpoint, I benefit more from being with a black woman that is clearly black, who's also doing well and who's also equally educated. So this is very important. Y'all take it easy. God bless.